What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Monday Night Football Show. I'm Ivan Vargas. Gonna be a good one tonight. Raiders and Chargers, a battle in the AFC West. It seems like the West for both conferences are tough divisions. They're probably going to be a couple of the toughest in football. Right now, the Raiders lead that one, but the Chargers are right there. I know they're sitting at 2-1, but that defense has pretty much kept it in. They only allowed 60 points so far this season. The offense has only scored about 7 more than the defense has allowed, but that defense has kept them in games. As a matter of fact, it's allowed them to win 2 of those 3, and they're looking for their third here tonight. They'd love nothing more than to get a 3-way tie in that division with a shocker in the Kansas City Chiefs at the bottom of this AFC West in 2-2. And for me, I feel like that win last week for the Chargers really set the tone for their season. Sitting at 1-1, they lost to the Cowboys. It wasn't really. They got ran over by the Cowboys. Is what it was. 198 yards, on the ground for that defense. They put up, enough in the air. They weren't able to run the ball as much against the Cowboys, but I expect them to be able to. I expect them to be able to do a lot more than what they did against Dallas tonight against the Raiders, even though the Raiders are undefeated. I expect a lot of passing. First of all, this one's going to be, in my opinion, this one's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm expecting both teams to score at least in the high 20s, if not the low 30s. The Raiders, they don't have a great defense. Like, they have a good pass rush. Their secondary is questionable. They've given up a lot of passing yards this season. And, I mean, they've also been ran over. Like the first game with the Ravens, 217 yards to Lamar, 189 yards. And then they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, which, I guess the Steelers were in garbage time to get, 300 yards in garbage time, even though they get the victory, and that game wasn't really close. But I looked at the Miami Dolphins, were able to pass on them. The Miami Dolphins were able to run on them as well. I still question that secondary for the Las Vegas Raiders going into this game, because Justin Herbert on the other side has just been lights out. He's been over 300 twice, against the Washington football team in the first one, against the Cowboys, and he's been at 275 against the Chiefs last week. And Justin Herbert, they talk about sophomore slumps. I don't really see it to start. I really don't see it to start. He looks like he belongs. He's playing the part. I look for Justin Herbert to have a big game today, as well as Derek Carr. You talk about the lack of a running game. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher so far this season. It's been 90. They've been five yards off. That was that Dallas game in week 2. 90 yards in the first game against Washington, 77 last week against the Chiefs. I feel like if they want to, they'll be able to run. They might be able to break a couple of big runs and might be able to pad the stats a little bit tonight. I don't know how much they're going to rely on their running backs. I feel like Justin Herbert's going to air it out on this Raiders team, or try to at least, using his weapons in Mike Williams and in Keenan Allen. I see Justin Herbert. I predict he'll throw over for 300 yards in this game against the Raiders. The Raiders do enough to win. It feels like the Raiders, down to the wire, every single game, they're just doing enough to win. I just don't know how they're doing it. I don't know how they're doing it. They're able to get a fumble, a strip sack fumble on Lamar in that first one. This Pittsburgh game, we thought Pittsburgh was going to be something more, and they just ended up getting smacked by the Raiders at Pittsburgh. Miami lost Tua, so Jacoby Brissett's he's a decent starter. He's probably one of the better starter or backups in the league. He has starter ability. You'd want to see him with the Tua, healthy Tua at that, and then you could probably really give him a solid judgment as to which way that game would have went. They only won that game by 3 points, so I don't know. Maybe it was Jacoby Brissett being a veteran and being able to run the offense a little better. Maybe Tua does enough to get Miami the win. Either way, the Raiders pulled it off late in overtime. So that's 2 overtime games for this Raiders team. I just don't see how this game gets away from either team. The Raiders have been in every single game. They've had dogfights each and every game. Pittsburgh was kind of a blowout. It was more like they caught the Steelers with their pants down. I felt like and they jumped them. They really jumped them. They had momentum coming in from that Ravens game. And, I look for that game to be you're playing a slower Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know what happens if you have a different quarterback in there, but you got to play to your opponent. Miami, same story. Just close games for the Raiders. I feel like this one's going to be the same way, just a little more high scoring, similar to the first similar to the first game and the last game against Miami. I think they get over 30 points today. For final score, I'm looking at 38-35. Man, this one's tough. I'm going to look 38-35 Chargers, and I'll tell you why. I just feel like the way that the Chargers defense is playing right now, you're going to have to really try to find a balance from in your passing game and your running game. And I don't think the Oakland Raiders have found that yet this season. If you look at, looking at their stats, and I've watched majority of their games, they've only had, they had 140 yards last week. They weren't able to do much against Pittsburgh. They weren't able to do much against Baltimore. Those are Baltimore and Pittsburgh, two of the tougher teams. Miami is a tough defense, but I feel like their secondary is a little bit better than their front. They might, maybe they got lucky, just got a big run. I didn't watch much of that Miami game except for the tail end of it. But the Chargers come in and they're, like I said, they're not really giving up a whole hell of a lot. They're doing enough. They're doing enough to win. They're only keeping their opponents limited to field goals, and that's good for them. I mean, that's a recipe of winning, especially if you have a good, solid quarterback and an offense that can move the ball and get you into the position to where you can score points. I'm going to go with the Chargers. Like I said, 38-35. I feel like the defense does enough for them. The defense probably, not probably. I look to them to find a way to get Derek Carr to put the ball on the ground or intercept him. It's just a better defense. I feel like allowing only 60 points, probably one of the better defense in the league, probably top 5 defense in the league. Actually, I'll check it out right now. I just look for them to stifle the Raiders tonight. They don't have a running game, and that's a problem. You can't just make Derek Carr do everything. I mean, he's been doing it so far, but let's see how long that lasts. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Well, for myself, Ivan Vargas, this has been the Monday Night Football Show on Sports Zone Chicago. I'll see you guys at the half. There is no What's Up Cuz tonight. We apologize. We will be back on next Monday, 6 to 8 o'clock with Jason and Lance, including myself. All right, guys. See you at the half.